Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Mike Francesa podcast, part of the Bet Rivers Network. We come to you after the early version of the Sunday games and a win for the Jets, so kudos to them. We'll get to them in a little while. Strange day in the league, but we seem to almost say that every week now. I'll get to that in a little while. And another giant collapse. But more importantly, you can't bury the lead, and the lead is Dart. The Giants would have won this game if Dart stayed. We know that. Everyone knows that. The Bears know that. Okay? Now, you can get on Dable, and what else is new? For his team's fourth quarter collapse, for the defense's inability to make a single play. I mean, get him down once. I know the quarterback is elusive. I know he is a guy who's very good in the fourth quarter when the game is unsettled and he's off script. He's very good in that regard. With his legs, with his arm, he's got a very good arm. He can run. He's got to have it for that. He likes that. That's where he's at his strength. He lights up in the fourth quarter. Okay, we know that. Now, you have to take a big picture look if you're the Giants. Don't worry about the head coaching situation. Just finish this season. What did you see today after Dart goes out? And it was inevitable, folks. If you are going to run him as much as he does, you can't tell him, hey, I want you to be very careful on first and second, then I want you to go for it in third down. You can't tell this kid that. This kid is playing like, a young colt. He's feeling his oats. He's doing really well. He's making plays. He's making big plays with his legs. And you're calling design runs with it in those situations too. I mean, he was 19 of 29 for 242 in a bad weather day. He was 6 for 66 with 2 rushing touchdowns. He was the running game in the first half. If I could get on Dable, here's what I get on him. When they give you the ball on the half-yard line with your defense and your fourth quarter collapses, you got to go for a touchdown there, okay? You're 2-7. Don't play scared. I mean, you're playing for he took the field goal there. I said, oh, go for the touchdown. Leave him on the half-yard line, okay? Go for the touchdown there. Get up 2 scores. It might energize your defense. It might make your defense brave. It might make somebody make a play. Now, again, did they get unlucky that Dart went out? Yes, and that's the big picture. They bring in Russell Wilson. No more. Don't want to see Russell Wilson play again this year. And let's deal with the quarterbacks now going forward. They are 2-8. If I had a wish, it's that, and I don't know if you can stop all the stupid nonsense. Hey, why is everybody tripping over themselves trying to say they were the first ones to fire Dable? Dable's firing himself, okay? But have the class and the compassion to leave John Mara out of this stuff, folks. Right now, John Mara, who has run that team since 2005. Taylor, get out of there. Run that team since 2005. Come over here. Run that team since 2005. Has won 2 Super Bowls. Now, listen, I have been as hard on him as everybody. I know him a long time. I like him. We always had a good relationship. He's been mad at me in recent years. And if the shoe was on the other foot, I'd be mad at him. I was destroying them with Gettleman. I destroyed them with some of the moves they made. They haven't made a right move in so long. But this man won 2 Super Bowls. Do you know how many teams have won 2 Super Bowls since John Mara took over for his father? 6. 6 have won multiple Super Bowls. 6 teams. So don't lose that in the bigger picture. Show some respect and understand he is going through a very, very serious medical situation. Don't drag him into this nonsense of where he was on Monday and where he was on Sunday and did he do this and did he do that and he was talked out of this and talked out. It's tasteless. Let this unfold because the most important thing, bigger than any touchdown, bigger than any win, is his health. Okay? So have some class and compassion, maybe at least a little, as you try to be the first one to fire Dable. And now, hey, you're kicking a dead carcass. Every week he comes to the podium after another collapse and says, we didn't get it done. Well, that's what he's going to say. That's going to be on the door when he leaves the building. Didn't get it done. He hasn't gotten it done. The odds of him being the coach next year are minuscule. I don't know what they're going to do with the general manager. Okay, I don't know that. I don't know a lot of things about the Giants, and nor does anybody else, for a lot of reasons. So let it unfold. Have some patience. Things are going to change. Now, the quarterback. You do not. This is the fourth time he's gone in to get looked at. Dable was the one who sent them to the trainers. They obviously then discovered they think he had a concussion. We don't know how severe yet. He can't sustain these hits. Nobody can. I do not put him back on the field now because wins and losses don't matter anymore. Okay, I'm not telling you don't go out and try to win. I am not a guy who would ever tank a game ever. I believe every win matters. But you do not put him back on the field until he is kicking the barn door down. And I'll tell you something else. You don't want to see Russell Wilson again. Russell Wilson today was a pathetic facsimile of what he once was. What he was doing out there was playing for his survival. All he was looking at was the pass rush. He wasn't looking downfield. He wasn't looking to make a play. He was looking not to get killed. Next week, you start Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston wants to be here as the backup going forward. He wants that situation. He's willing to be the backup quarterback long term. He likes the kid. He knows the kid has an exceptional amount of talent. We all know that. Let Winston quarterback the team for the next 2 or 3 weeks. I don't care until Dart is kicking the door down, begging you to put him back in the game. Maybe you do that against Washington, or maybe you even do it against the Pats if he makes a really smart recovery. Don't do it the next 2 weeks against the Packers and the Lions. Let Jameis Winston do it. He'll do some good things. He'll do some bad things. They'll probably lose the games. Fine. He will make throws, though. He will make plays. He will score touchdowns. He'll also throw interceptions for touchdowns. That's Jameis Winston. That's what he's always been. Do not put Dart back on the field until he is begging you and kicking the door down. Russell Wilson, let him stand there for the rest of the season. Let Jameis Winston be the quarterback for as long as you can keep him upright, and just go about your business the best you can. Dable sees the handwriting on the wall. He knows what's going on here. You can see it in his face. Dart's not even going to save him anymore. But again, there is so much going on with the Giants, and a lot of it is tied into John Mara's health. Do not dismiss that and have compassion for it. And let this thing unfold. But hey, they're 2-8. It doesn't matter now whether they win next week or not. And listen, they should try. They should try and win every game the rest of the way. We understand that. No one's saying they shouldn't. Okay? But the bottom line is there's going to be massive changes. And what matters now is getting Tagliabue healthy, getting your prime wide receiver healthy, getting Dart through this season and healthy. He's already showed you what you needed to see. He is the future, and the future is bright with him at quarterback. I'm not saying that he has to be benched the rest of the season. What I'm saying is I don't want him back on the field until he is completely without one ache, one pain, one stiff neck, one headache, one anything. Do not put him on the field one day early. Put him on 3 days after he begs you to put him on the field, because that's what's important for the future. His future is the future of the Giants. We don't need to see any more of these collapses in the fourth quarter. We don't need to see any more of these games that should have been won and have been lost. We don't need to see any of that. We all can see what Dart is. We can see where the Giants have improved and where they need to improve dramatically. And the first thing they need to do is decide how they want to play their defense and not the way they've been playing it this year. I mean, listen, they changed their coverage today. They played a lot more zone, especially early in the game. The bottom line is, okay, they can't make a play because they don't know how to make a winning play. They don't. Dart does, but the rest of them don't. And it shows and it permeates, and it comes from the coaching staff and it comes all the way down. We've seen this over and over again. There's no reason to rail about it. Oh, he didn't go for the touchdown. He didn't do this. He didn't do that. They didn't make this play. They didn't make... We all watched it. We all could see it coming. When it was 2017, did anybody think the Giants were going to get beat 24-20? And I didn't think there was a chance Russell Wilson was going to move the team. Not a chance. Right, they've lost 11 straight games on the road. The losing has completely permeated that entire foundation of once was an incredibly proud franchise. They're the football giants. They've been to the Super Bowl 5 times. They've won 4. Like I said, 6 teams have won multiple Super Bowls since 2005 when John Mara took over for Wellington. 6. They're one of them. But it's been a long time. And the last 7, 8 years have been just embarrassing. Past embarrassing. Mortifying. We know that. But now be smart. Handle this the proper way. You can't play this kid. And I don't think Dable would 1 minute early to try and get a W that would save his job or turn something around. It's not going to happen anymore. That die has been cast. But be patient and let it unfold and stop dragging John Mara into this nonsense. As for the Jets today, hey, you knew they'd get a shot against Cleveland. Cleveland's been awful on the road. Cleveland's a young team on offense that doesn't know what the heck it's doing. And today, the Jets made big plays. You know, when you get a 99-yard touchdown return and a 74-yard punt return, and you get 4 sacks out of McDonald, and you get 2 or 3 big plays out of Breece Hall, you can win when your quarterback throws for 54 yards. And they did. Good for them. They've won 2 in a row. Hey, they had a really bad team come into their building today. That's the kind of team you should beat. Now, the Jets didn't have to beat them. They did. They've won 2 in a row. So kudos to them. Okay? Moving in the right direction. Gives Aaron Glenn a chance to puff his chest out a little bit. Good. Let him do it. They made the moves they made last week. They came back and won the game today. So be it. Kudos to them. I have nothing either way to say about it. Just, I mean, we saw what the game was today. Was it a little flukish? Yeah, but who cares? Cleveland's bad. They find ways to lose. They found ways to lose to the Jets today. Giving up massive returns, making critical mistakes. I mean, that's how you lose these games. A couple of things now. Panthers. And I picked them, so I'm wrong. I thought they would show up today, take that leap where they got above 500. They were 3-1 at home, beat a bad team with a young quarterback, and move ahead and prove that you've taken that leap. Instead, they were awful today. They got up 7-0, and they didn't make a play the rest of the game. Interceptions, blocked field goals, everything else. They let Shuck go out there and throw the ball all over the place. He threw for 280 yards. New Orleans beats them. Terrible loss for the Panthers. Insane loss for the Bills. You're telling me the Bills go to Miami and get beat like that? Ashawn gets 174 yards rushing, another 50, 60 receiving. The Bills are never in the game. Never in the game. They're now a game and a half behind their division because the Pats win in Tampa. Buffalo is not right. I told you that last week, but I didn't think they would lose to the Dolphins. Ravens win in Minnesota, a game they needed. Now they're 4-5. They're going to be 7-5 when they meet the Steelers for the first time of 2. Now there's a very good chance the Ravens go to the playoffs. Texans come from behind. They're down 29-10 in the fourth quarter to Jacksonville. Jacksonville won a gift from the Raiders last week on the road, and their record's still okay, but this is one that's going to haunt them. They're up 29-10, and Houston, which has had no offense all year, is playing with Mills at quarterback. Now, Mills isn't terrible as a backup, but he's not anything to write home about. He had a great game today. They came from 29-10 down. They took a 30-29 lead. The last touchdown was cosmetic. There were 3 seconds left. Trevor Lawrence got stripped trying to make a play. They ran it back for a touchdown. Who cares? Bottom line is Jacksonville blew a 29-10 lead going into the fourth quarter against a backup quarterback. Terrible. Just terrible. The kind of game, if you don't make the playoffs, haunts you. Absolutely haunts you. Now, the other story today, the passing of Paul Tagliabue. For those of you who are younger NFL fans, you can read the history of the league. It is entwined, obviously, in what Rozelle did. And Rozelle, remember, was regarded as the most dynamic and important commissioner in the modern age. He revolutionized sport and made the NFL what it is, which is this incredible force. The number one entertainment force in the world. Tagliabue, a basketball player from Jersey City who played at Georgetown and at one time was the leading rebounder in the history of the school. A lawyer. Often you've seen with the NFL, guys come out of nowhere to become commissioner. Tagliabue did, Goodell did. He passed today at 84. He was the commissioner from 89 to 2006. During his time, he not only had huge shoes to fill, and to keep this league going forward, he created labor peace with Gene Upshaw, including salary cap that included free agency. So he had peace. He created peace at a time where there had not been peace. The NFL was under siege in the late 80s. And he got labor peace. He expanded the league to 32 teams. He got a lot of new stadiums built with money that came from all different sources, including ownership and the NFLPA. He kept New Orleans in Katrina. Benson wanted to hightail it to San Antonio, and he said, "What are you going to do? Leave over the bodies? I mean, you got to stay. You got to stay and rebuild this town. You're what will rebuild this city." So he kept them there. He also had a big stay in keeping the Pats in New England. He was the one who got Parcells to go there, which created the sale that kept them in New England. Because Orthwein wanted to move him to St. Louis, the Bud Air, going back. So Tagliabue had a very good run. An unassuming guy, a quiet, dignified man, lawyerly. Not the greatest interview. We interviewed him plenty of times, but not the greatest interview, but very matter of fact. But a good man who did a good job and moved this league, which had already exploded. Football exploded in the 60s and got bigger and bigger and bigger and took some hits in the 80s. And he took it back from that into a time of peace and prosperity and expansion and did a really understated, superb job. He really did. Passes away today at the age of 84. And again, the guys who have run this league know how important it is to build consensus inside ownership, know where to go to get ownership to do the things that need to be done inside all the little cliques and things that go on inside the ownership of the league. The changing power. You remember in the Rozelle days, the power, the guys who were the forward thinkers. Wellington Mara had a huge say because without his generosity, there never would have been the revenue split of the TV because Papa George didn't want it. And he talked him into it. And that was probably the most important thing that ever happened in the NFL. That's why the NFL is the NFL, because of Wellington Mara. But the expansion and the way they crafted the TV packages and everything was done by Roselle, Klein, and Modell. They were the powers. And then years later, you've had different powers as everybody moved on. But commissioners know how to use ownership to get things done. And that's part of playing the game. And the game has obviously thrived in a very, very big way. Mike Francesa newsletter. Sign up for the free Mike Francesa newsletter. You'll get exclusive content, contests, offers. Go to mfpodcast.com and sign up. So the MikeFrancesapodcast.com and sign up. Players who place a qualifying same-game parlay of at least $10 on eligible NFL and NCAA football games will receive one standard entry into the weekly square game, which is a nice way to play along. Winning standard squares will be awarded a prize of a $20 bonus bet. More if your wager is larger. See app and website for more details. So another crazy day. A win for the Jets over the equally beleaguered Browns. Another giant collapse on a day where Dart, as everybody has feared and fans have feared and everyone has said time and time again, he cannot continue to run with this complete abandon. It's going to get him. It got him today. We don't know the extent. But in what has become another terrible losing season, collapse after collapse in the fourth quarters. In the last three games, they've given up 33, 14, and 14 in the fourth quarter. They continue to collapse game after game. They've turned victories into defeats, and there's plenty of defeats to go around. 11 straight losses on the road. We can go on and on and on. But what's important now is that people who follow Giants show patience and let this whole thing play out. And Dart does not step foot on the field again until he is healthy. And then you make him take another week and make sure that he doesn't have a scrape or 1 minute of any trouble before you put him back on the field this year. He'll see the field again this year. Some games late in the season that he would thrive in. Washington at home, even the Pats at home, Washington at home, Vikings, Cowboys at home. You don't have to rush him back. But I don't want to see Russell Wilson anymore. Let Jameis Winston play. Russell Wilson has retired. He had a wonderful career. You can't blame a man who's got a lot to live for, who's got a lot of money, who's had a wonderful career for protecting himself and not wanting to risk some serious injury now at this stage of his life. But he's playing out there not to get hurt. And you can't play the position that way. And I'm not trying to come down on Russell Wilson for any reason. He's just playing scared. Let Jameis play until Jaxson Dart is ready to come back. And like I said, make sure he's knocking the door down and then wait another week. Because there's no reason to rush what is the franchise when you have watched both your superb wide receiver and your tremendous rookie running back go down with serious injuries. Do not put him in harm's way for 1 second. And I don't think Dable would to further his own cause. And he was the one today who said to people, don't send them back on the field till you check them. So kudos to him for that, taking care of Dart, which I have no doubt he would do. No doubt. But Dart is what is important. He is the future of a franchise that is going to go through some more upheaval. So just let it unfold. We'll see you later.